There is a project on GitHub right now sitting at 367,000 stars. It has backing from OpenAI, NVIDIA, GitHub, and Versal. It promises to be a personal AI assistant that lives inside WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, iMessage, and over 20 other messaging platforms you already use every single day. People on social media are calling it the end game of digital employees. Developers are saying it gave them the same feeling as the first time they used ChatGPT. The project is called OpenClaw, and the hype around it is completely justified. And you try to actually set it up yourself? That is not a criticism of OpenClaw. It is genuinely one of the most ambitious and well-built open-source AI projects in existence right now. But it was built by developers for developers, and that gap between what it can do and who can actually use it is real. Somewhere in that gap, a team called ValueCell decided to build something. They called it ClawX. ClawX is a desktop application. It runs on Mac, Windows, and Linux. It takes everything OpenClaw is capable of and wraps it inside an interface that does not ask you to touch a config file, write a line of JSON, or know what a system daemon is. It manages the entire OpenClaw stack for you, from installation to your first conversation with your AI agent, all through a graphical interface. This video is not a setup tutorial. It is a breakdown of what ClawX actually is, how it works under the hood, what it gives you that existing OpenClaw tooling does not, and who it is genuinely built for. By the end of this, you will have a clear picture of whether ClawX belongs in your workflow or not. If this kind of deep dive into open source AI tools is useful to you, hit the like button and subscribe so you do not miss the next one. There's a lot more coming on the OpenClaw ecosystem specifically, and sharing this video helps get it in front of the people who would find it most valuable. Most people who discover OpenClaw find it through GitHub trending, a tweet, or a friend sending them a link with zero context. And the first thing they usually do is read the description. Your own personal AI assistant, any operating system, any platform. It sounds like a product pitch, but the more you dig in, the more you realize it is actually just an accurate description of what the thing does. OpenClaw is a personal AI assistant runtime that you run on your own hardware, not in the cloud, not on someone else's server unless you want it there, but on your own machine. The team behind it describes the core architecture with one line that is worth quoting directly. The gateway is just the control plane. The product is the assistant. That distinction matters a lot, and it is the key to understanding the whole thing. The gateway is the engine running quietly in the background. It manages your sessions, your channels, your tools, and your events. It is what keeps your agent alive and connected. But the gateway itself is not what you interact with. What you interact with is your assistant, and your assistant lives wherever you already spend your time. If that is WhatsApp, your agent is in WhatsApp. If that is Telegram, it is in Telegram. Discord, Slack, Signal, iMessage, Microsoft Teams, Matrix, IRC, Line, Twitch, WeChat, and more than a dozen others. The channel support is not a bullet point feature list. It is the actual architecture of how OpenClaw thinks about personal AI. Your assistant goes where you go. The identity and behavior of your agent lives in a file called soul.md. This is essentially a plain text personality and instruction file that tells the gateway how your agent should think, what it should prioritize, and how it should respond. Alongside that are agents.md and tools.md, which define capabilities and behaviors at a system level. Your agent's skills, which are modular extensions that give it new abilities, live in a workspace folder on your machine and can be installed from ClawHub, which is a community-maintained skill registry for the OpenClaw ecosystem. Beyond messaging, OpenClaw can speak and listen. Voice-wake words work on macOS and iOS. Continuous voice mode runs on Android. There is a live canvas workspace that your agent can render and control visually. It can run cron jobs, respond to webhooks, monitor Gmail through pub and sub, browse the web, read and write files, execute shell commands, and even write its own skills when it needs a capability it does not have yet. The breadth of what it can do, once configured, is genuinely hard to overstate. And this is exactly where the tension lives. OpenClaw is powerful in a way that most consumer AI tools are not even close to, but it is also honest about what it is. The recommended setup path is running a command called OpenClaw onboard in your terminal. That wizard walks you through installing the gateway daemon, connecting your channels, and choosing your skill bundles. For developers, this is completely natural. For anyone else, it is the first of several friction points. OpenClaw does have its own web-based control UI built into the gateway, and there are companion apps for macOS, iOS, and Android. But all of those assume the gateway is already running, already configured, and already stable. Getting to that point is where people drop off. And that is the exact problem ClawX is designed to solve. When a powerful open source project has a steep setup curve, two things tend to happen. The project team eventually builds better onboarding, or someone else in the community builds a wrapper that closes the gap faster. ClawX is the second thing. It comes from a team called ValueCell, and it is a separate project from the core OpenClaw maintainers. That distinction matters because ClawX is not an official product. It is a community response to a real problem, and that is actually what makes it interesting. The idea behind ClawX is straightforward. OpenClaw as a technology is ready for a much wider audience than the current setup experience allows. The gateway is stable. The channel integrations are mature. The skill ecosystem is growing. The missing piece is an interface that does not require you to know what you are doing before you start. ClawX is that interface. It is a cross-platform desktop application built on Electron, which means it runs natively on macOS, Windows, and Linux with a single codebase. It bundles OpenClaw directly as a submodule, so there is no separate OpenClaw installation to manage. You download ClawX, and OpenClaw comes with it. The application then takes full responsibility for the gateway lifecycle, meaning it starts the gateway when you open ClawX, keeps it running while you're using it, handles restarts if something goes wrong, and shuts it down cleanly when you close the app. None of that happens in a terminal window you have to leave open. All of it happens invisibly, managed by the application itself. This is the core difference between ClawX and OpenClaw's own control UI, and it is worth being precise about it, because the two things are easy to conflate. OpenClaw's built-in control UI is a web-based dashboard that connects to a gateway that is already running. It gives you visibility and control over something you have already set up. ClawX does not assume you have set anything up. It handles the entire stack from the first launch through the initial configuration through the ongoing management of the gateway process, all within a single graphical application. It is not a dashboard layered on top of OpenClaw. It is OpenClaw with a different front door. The project is open source under the MIT license, and it is still early. The star count is small compared to OpenClaw itself, and the releases page does not yet have pre-built binaries, which means building from source is currently required to run it. But the code base is well structured, the architecture is thoughtful, and the problem it is solving is clearly defined. The gap between what OpenClaw can do and who can currently access it is real, and ClawX is a genuine attempt to close it. To understand what ClawX is doing behind the scenes, it helps to think of it as three distinct layers that are all running at the same time and talking to each other constantly. The deepest layer is the OpenClaw gateway. This is the actual AI agent runtime, the same one you would get if you installed OpenClaw manually through the terminal. It handles agent orchestration, message channel management, skill and plugin execution, and model provider abstraction. It is the brain of the entire operation, and in a standard OpenClaw setup, keeping it alive and healthy is your responsibility as the user. You start it, you monitor it, you restart it when it goes down. ClawX takes that responsibility away from you entirely. Sitting above the gateway is the Electron main process. This is the part of ClawX that operates at the operating system level. It manages the application window, controls the lifecycle of the gateway process, handles system tray integration, delivers push notifications, manages auto updates, and most importantly, talks directly to your operating system's native secure storage to handle API keys and credentials. When ClawX starts up, the main process is what spins the gateway up. When something goes wrong with the gateway, the main process detects it and handles recovery automatically. There is built-in reconnection logic with exponential backoff, meaning if the gateway drops for any reason, ClawX does not just give up. It tries again with increasing intervals until the connection is restored. The top layer is the React renderer process, and this is everything you actually see and interact with. It is built on React 19 with TypeScript, styled with Tailwind CSS and Shadden components, animated with Framer Motion, and manages its state with Zustand. It communicates with the gateway through a WebSocket connection using a JSON RPC protocol, which is the same protocol OpenClaw uses across all of its interfaces. This means the renderer process is receiving live data from the gateway in real time. And when you send a message or configure a channel or install a skill, that action travels down through the renderer, across the WebSocket, into the gateway, and the response comes back the same way. The reason this three-layer separation matters is not just architectural elegance. It has real practical consequences for how the application behaves. Because the gateway runs in its own isolated process, a problem in the UI does not kill your agent. The gateway can keep running even if the front end crashes or is restarted. Because the main process is sitting between the UI and the gateway, it can detect failures that neither of the other two layers would catch on their own. And because API keys are stored in the OS native keychain rather than in a config file or environment variable, your credentials are protected by the same mechanism your operating system uses to protect passwords everywhere else on your machine. The tech stack itself is worth a quick mention because it tells you something about the maturity of the project. Electron 33, React 19, TypeScript, Tailwind, Vite for the build pipeline, Vitist and Playwright for unit and end-to-end testing, and Electron Builder for packaging across all three platforms. This is not a prototype thrown together over a weekend. The tooling choices reflect a project being built with longevity in mind. The first thing you encounter when you launch ClawX for the first time is the setup wizard, and it is genuinely the best argument for why ClawX exists. It walks you through 4 steps in sequence. You set your language and region. You enter your API keys for whichever AI providers you want to use. You select skill bundles based on your use case. Then you run a live verification check that tests your configuration before you ever reach the main interface. If something is wrong, you find out immediately with a clear indication of what needs to be fixed, not a cryptic error message in a terminal log you have to go hunting for. The entire process is graphical, validated in real time, and reversible at any point. That 4-step sequence replaces what would otherwise be a manual process involving config files, environment variables, and enough command line back and forth to lose most non-technical users before they ever get their agent online. Once you're past setup, the primary surface you will spend most of your time in is the chat interface. It is a modern, clean conversation UI with support for multiple conversation contexts, persistent message history across sessions, and full markdown rendering. That last point is more meaningful than it sounds. OpenClaw agents are capable of returning rich, structured responses, and without proper markdown rendering, tables collapse into noise, code blocks become unreadable, and formatted output loses all its value. ClawX renders it correctly, which means you're actually seeing what your agent intended to communicate. The multi-channel management panel is where ClawX starts to surface the real depth of the OpenClaw ecosystem. One of OpenClaw's most powerful capabilities is the ability to route different messaging platforms to different agents, each with its own isolated workspace, session history, and soul.md identity. In a standard OpenClaw setup, managing this means editing configuration files and understanding how the gateway handles routing. In ClawX, it is a visual panel where you can see all your active channels at once, configure each one individually, and monitor their status without touching a single line of JSON. For anyone running OpenClaw across multiple platforms, this alone is a significant quality of life improvement. Cron-based automation is where the always-on promise of OpenClaw becomes tangible for users who are not writing scripts to make things happen on schedule. Through ClawX, you define a task, set a trigger and an interval, and your agent starts executing the task automatically at the times you specify. It could be a morning briefing pulled from your news sources, a price check on something you're tracking, a weekly review of a project, or a reminder system that actually understands context. The Cron interface in ClawX removes the part where you have to know how Cron expressions work and replaces it with a visual configuration flow. The skills system is arguably the most strategically important feature in ClawX, because it is what turns the application from a wrapper into a platform. Skills in OpenClaw are skill.md files that extend what your agent can do, and the community has built hundreds of them covering everything from browser automation to code review to data extraction. The central registry for these is ClawHub at clawhub.ai. In a standard OpenClaw setup, finding, installing, and managing skills means working directly with the file system and the CLI. ClawX replaces that with a built-in skill browser. You can browse available skills, read what they do, install them, and manage what is active, all from within the application. No package managers, no file system navigation, no manual skill.md placement. This is the kind of feature that dramatically changes who can realistically benefit from the OpenClaw skill ecosystem, because right now that audience is limited to people comfortable with the command line. Provider configuration in ClawX is handled through a unified panel that connects to multiple AI providers simultaneously. OpenAI, Anthropic, and others are all supported, which matches OpenClaw's underlying model flexibility. What ClawX adds on top of this is the secure storage layer. Your API keys go into your operating system's native keychain, the same mechanism that protects every other password on your machine. They're not sitting in a plain text file, not exposed in an environment variable, not visible in a config that could accidentally get committed somewhere. For users who have ever cringed at the standard paste your init file setup flow, this matters. Theming is the last feature worth naming, not because it is technically significant, but because of what it signals about the project's intentions. ClawX supports light mode, dark mode, and system synchronized themes. It is a small thing, but in an ecosystem where most tooling looks like it was designed by, and for people who do not think about how things look, shipping adaptive theming on day one is a signal that ClawX is being built for a broader audience than the typical open source AI project. Being honest about who a tool is built for is more useful than pretending it works equally well for everyone. So here's a clear-eyed take on where ClawX fits and where it does not. If you're a developer who is already comfortable with CLIs, enjoys reading documentation, and has no problem running a daemon and editing a JSON config file, ClawX is probably not your primary interface for OpenClaw. You already have everything you need. The terminal workflow is fast, the control UI gives you visibility, and the companion apps cover the mobile and desktop gaps. ClawX adds a layer of abstraction you did not ask for and may not want. But that is a relatively small slice of the people who could genuinely benefit from what OpenClaw makes possible. The much larger group is everyone else. The technically curious person who has heard about AI agents and wants to actually run one without spending a weekend debugging setup issues. The small team where one person understands the technology, but 3 others need to use it without touching the configuration. The Windows and Linux users for whom the macOS companion app ecosystem simply does not exist. The person who has the motivation and the use case, but has hit the setup wall enough times that they have given up and gone back to using ChatGPT in a browser tab. ClawX is built for that group. It is built on the premise that the barrier to entry for OpenClaw is a solvable problem, and that solving it opens up the technology to an audience that is dramatically larger than the one currently using it. The 4 use cases that the ClawX team specifically calls out give a sense of the breadth they are aiming for. The first is a personal AI assistant for everyday tasks, drafting emails, summarizing documents, answering questions, managing information, all from a clean desktop interface that does not require you to open a messaging app to talk to your agent. The second is automated monitoring, where scheduled agents keep an eye on news feeds, price movements, GitHub activity, or any other data stream and surface the relevant changes to you without manual checking. The third is developer productivity, using agents to handle code review, documentation generation, and repetitive tasks without breaking your flow by switching to a separate tool. The fourth is workflow automation, chaining multiple skills together into pipelines that process data, transform content, and trigger downstream actions, all orchestrated visually instead of scripted by hand. What connects all 4 of those is that none of them require technical expertise to benefit from. They require a clear idea of what you want your agent to do. ClawX is the layer that handles the rest. The honest caveat is that ClawX is still early. Building from source is currently required, pre-built releases are not yet available, and the project is small compared to the OpenClaw core. The gap between what it promises and what it currently delivers in terms of polish and stability is something to keep in mind if you're evaluating it for production workflow right now. But the trajectory is clear, the architecture is solid, and the problem it is solving is not going away. As OpenClaw continues to grow, the need for an accessible desktop interface grows with it, and ClawX is the most serious attempt at filling that role that exists right now. OpenClaw is one of those rare open source projects that feels like it is pointing at something real. Not just a clever technical demo, not just a developer toy, but a genuine shift in how personal AI could work. Local first, privacy respecting, channel agnostic, endlessly extensible. The vision is compelling and the execution is mature enough that the vision is not just theoretical anymore. 367,000 stars and backing from some of the most significant names in the industry does not happen by accident. ClawX is a bet that the next chapter of that story is not about making OpenClaw more powerful. It is about making it more accessible. The technology is ready. The question is whether the interface can catch up, and ValueCell is making a serious attempt to answer that. What is worth watching going forward is how the 2 projects evolve in relation to each other. OpenClaw is actively improving its own onboarding and tooling. ClawX is building an abstraction layer that could serve a completely different audience. Whether those trajectories converge or stay parallel tells you a lot about where the OpenClaw ecosystem is heading as a whole. If you're already running OpenClaw and you have experimented with ClawX, drop your experience in the comments. Hit the like button if this breakdown was useful. It genuinely helps this kind of content reach the people who would find it most valuable. Subscribe if you want to be there when the next one drops. And if there is a specific part of the OpenClaw ecosystem you want covered next, leave it in the comments too. The roadmap for this channel is built on what you asked for. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.